The Janitor Who Fired the CEO, A Boardroom Reckoning. The glass-paneled doors of the executive conference room slammed open. Every head turned. Standing at the threshold was Marissa Langston, 35, dressed in the blue uniform of the overnight custodial staff. In her hands, she clutched a folder thick with documents. The fluorescent lights above glinted off her name badge and the determination in her eyes. "Marissa," scoffed CEO Brandon Ellis, lounging in his oversized leather chair. He was only 32, smug in his power. "This is a closed meeting. We don't need janitorial service right now." She didn't move. Instead, she stepped forward and dropped the folder onto the table with a hard thump. The noise echoed in the silent room. "Actually, Mr. Ellis," she said calmly, "you're the one who needs to leave." Just 60 minutes earlier, Marissa had been invisible, pushing her mop down marble hallways, clearing out trash bins, blending into the background like she'd done for 15 years. She overheard Brandon and his oily COO, Kent Masters, laughing over cocktails. "Honestly," Kent had said, smirking, "we should just cut the whole maintenance department. Get AI-controlled Roombas." Brandon laughed. "Please. They should be grateful we let them breathe the same air." Marissa's knuckles whitened around the mop handle. She had started at Langston and Bright Tech at 20, scrubbing floors while others walked past her without eye contact. Her father, Frederick Langston, had co-founded the company with integrity and vision. But after his sudden death, the board installed Brandon, a family friend's spoiled son, as a temporary CEO. Marissa, grieving and young, chose to remain in the shadows, hoping Brandon would prove worthy. He didn't. He downsized departments, cut benefits, and turned a once-revered company into a soulless machine. That morning, a memo slipped from a shredder bin caught her eye. She unfolded its heart-pounding. Confidential, 40% staff layoffs, no severance, no warnings. Tears burned behind her eyes. These weren't just names, these were people, with families, technicians, cafeteria workers, mailroom runners. People like her. Then she heard it, Brandon again, his voice dripping with disdain. "If they can't afford rent, maybe they should have worked harder." Marissa's breath caught. That was it. She stormed to legal records, demanded access to the company's founding documents. A paralegal blinked in confusion. "Why would you need those, ma'am?" Marissa reached beneath her collar and pulled out a thin gold chain. At the end, a small brass key. "Because this unlocks the vault. And I think you'll find my name is on more than just a badge." Within 30 minutes, she had the originals, the shareholder ledger, Frederick Langston's notarized will, and one undeniable truth. She owned 51% of the company. Back in the boardroom, Brandon's smirk faltered as Marissa laid out the documents. He flipped through them, his face draining of color. "What is this?" he asked, voice cracking. "My father's wishes," Marissa said, her tone frosted steel. "You were never the heir, I was." Kent choked on his espresso. The board stared, some in disbelief, others with thinly veiled relief. "As majority shareholder," she continued, "I'm invoking my right to remove you as CEO effective immediately." Brandon bolted upright. "You can't do this. You think anyone will listen to a janitor?" For a second, no one moved. Then the corporate attorney cleared his throat. "Is legitimate. She has controlling interest." Brandon's jaw clenched. His voice rose into a snarl. "You're nothing. You're the cleaning lady." Marissa's heart thundered in her chest. But she didn't flinch. Security arrived. Brandon screamed, called her names, swore revenge. But she just stood tall, eyes steady, shoulders square. "Pack your things, Mr. Ellis," she said. "You were lucky I ever let you in this building." As he was dragged out, applause broke out. Not all, but enough to fill the air with a shift that had been 15 years in the making. She stepped into the CEO's chair, her chair. A month later, headlines read, "Custodian turned CEO rehires laid-off workers, restores core values." Brandon watched from the sidelines as Marissa met employees by name, restored health plans, restructured departments, and erased the boardroom of Brandon's cronies. At the annual meeting, she stood at the podium in a crisp blazer and looked out over the crowd. Engineers, secretaries, janitors, interns. "Funny thing," she said, her voice warm but firm. "Some people spend their lives looking down, never realizing who's actually standing above them." That day, Marissa Langston stopped sweeping floors and started building a legacy.